Hello everyone and welcome to my how-to guide on Reaper. So I apologize in advance. I had to edit a couple of videos together because when you play Reaper effectively, matches go relatively quick. So Reaper has a pretty interesting kit. One of his abilities is going to allow him to teleport a short distance. There is a delay to it, so you can't really use it in case of emergency, but you can use it to get yourself into some interesting positions. His other ability is Wraith Form, which is going to allow him to take no damage. It increases his movement speed for a short duration. You got a word of caution with that. Got to be a little careful because you can get yourself into situations you don't want to be in. Using that ability, it's better used as a means of escape. He does have a standard left click, which is going to be his shotgun blast from his Hellfire shotguns, and they do incredible damage at close range, but have a great fall off. So Reaper also has an ultimate ability, which is one of the easiest abilities in the game to use, which he will start spinning in circles, scream die, 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 and kill everything in a small area around him. He is vulnerable during this time, however, so if an enemy Reaper is doing this to you, simply focus fire him down and you will end his ultimate. If left unchecked, however, it will pretty much kill anything around him, except maybe the highest health tanks if they have some sort of healing support, like a Zenyatta orb. So with Reaper, the trick to Reaper is you're a flanker and a very high DPS. You can take down high value targets in no time flat. But again, your strength and your power is keeping pressure off of the objectives. So you want to take down high value targets, and then you want to move yourself in position towards their front lines to keep their attention away from the objective. So on a payload map, you're going to want to help clear off that payload and then immediately start pressing forward, backwards, sideways, whatever way you need to move in order to keep their attention off of the objective and on you. Now, the neat thing about Reaper is he has a lot of survivability and mobility. So in order to play Reaper effectively, you've got to get used to your maps. That's the biggest tip I can give newer players is learn all the paths and routes in a map, learn where you can teleport to, because you constantly want to take your enemies by surprise. Reaper is not that effective as a face tank. You know, he's not a tank, he's not a healer or a support or anything like that. If you are coming in, you know, headlong into combat, you're gonna die 9 times out of 10, and you're gonna die before you can really do too much damage to the enemy team. Reaper's most effective when he catches his enemies by surprise, so you constantly want to be moving and looking for those angles on the team that is going to provide you the ability to get in and around them. So here, as an example, quick, you'll see several times, you know, it starts turning into a face-to-face battle, and I just negotiate my way out of that and move around to the backs or the sides of the enemy team. And that's the point. I'm staying ahead of my payload and keeping pressure on the front as opposed to directly on the objective. That's going to allow your team to essentially just walk the payload in. It's a lot like playing Genji as a flanker. The same concept is true. The only difference is you have a little bit less mobility than Genji, but you do an incredible amount of damage. At close range, if you catch somebody by surprise, you can one-shot them with a headshot with your shotguns, but more importantly, 2 or 3 shots with a body shot is going to take down pretty much anybody. So the trick with a Reaper is just to stay ahead of the game, right? So you want to get ahead of your teammates. You want to keep, again, that pressure on the front lines, but you need to be able to predict where your team's going to go, and the only way to do that is to learn your maps. So again, pro tip, what you need to work on for anybody that is newer to Reaper is learning where you can go and learning your maps so that you can predict what path the enemy team is going to take and what path you need to take to catch them by surprise. So here I jump up top. It allows me to jump in, use my ultimate. I Wraith form out because they don't focus me down quick enough. Unfortunately, I really don't kill anybody, but I do force them to waste an ult and do a little damage to the team, which allows us again to continue that forward pressure. So they don't have an ult just sitting around any longer. So again, that is the trick with Reaper, is just keeping your team, the enemy team, off balance, and to keep that constant flanking pressure on the enemy team. But unlike a lot of other flankers, you are extremely effective at last point objectives or control point objectives, because it forces everybody to be close together, and that is where you shine with your Hellfire shotguns. So the second match here, I actually win this match in 2 minutes and 7 seconds for my team. So I'm going to, again, knowing my map, knowing my flanking paths, I'm going to take the left-hand path, teleport over there, get behind the enemy lines, pick off a couple of players. That's going to allow us to push to the second point, where again, knowing my map, I can once again get behind the enemy lines with another flanker on my team, the Genji. Shout out to him, as he does end up getting play of the game, which I don't show here, unfortunately. But again, so just knowing your paths and knowing what routes to take is going to allow you to play Reaper the most effectively. So as always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below. Let me know what character you would like to see a how-to guide on next, and I'll be sure to follow up with you. But takeaway key points with Reaper: learn your maps. If you learn your maps, you're going to be more effective, and constantly try and find angles which you can take the enemy team by surprise. Get on those side paths, and figure out where they're going to go and where you need to go to catch them by surprise. Like, share, and subscribe this video, and you have a wonderful day.